Hey everybody, Tim here with today's episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Season 6, Episode 18, Inquisition. So, I don't know if this episode was intended to completely rewrite all of Star Trek as a franchise, but Ira Behr did a good job, and he completely redid it. So, first of all, this episode was directed by Michael Dorn, the actor that plays Worf, and he does a fantastic job. And this is the episode, if you ever were curious, what episode introduced Section 31? This is it. You have found that episode. So, the whole premise of the episode is basically Dr. Bashir is being questioned about, his connections to the Jem'Hadar. And as the episode continues, most of the episode is actually, in a holodeck, and it's not real. It's almost a dream sequence, because they keep beaming, Dr. Bashir into a holodeck, and then they go from one thing to another, to another, to another, trying to question him. And they talk about how they beamed him out, after an hour that he was asleep. So he's sleep deprived, they don't feed him, so he's hungry, he's tired, he's irritable. And they just keep questioning him, and finally they reveal, oh, we are Section 31. And Dr. Bashir's how is this sanctioned by the Federation? And the guy who's questioning him is well, actually, we were part of the original Starfleet Charter. Over 200 years ago, they were part of the original Starfleet, decree that they were going to be, the secret organization. And when finally Bashir returns to Deep Space Nine and Sisko starts questioning, they're well, Starfleet doesn't acknowledge that Section 31 exists, but they also don't deny it. And so there have been tons of books about it, and even in this episode, Odo kind of alludes to Section 31 kind of makes sense because there's the Tal Shiar for the Romulans, there's the Obsidian Order for the Cardassians, Section 31 kind of makes sense, to be honest with you. And like I said, there have been tons of books that have connected The Next Generation and the original series to Section 31. And from here on, we see him a little bit more in Deep Space Nine. We see him a little bit in Voyager. And then Section 31 has a huge part in Discovery, where Section 31 is actually getting their own television show later on this season. I mean, it's towards the end of June as of this recording, so I'll be curious to see how far of Section 31 gets their own show. But Section 31 has always kind of been this give and take. Some people love it, some people hate it. It's basically the epitome of everything that Gene Roddenberry was against, which is what Deep Space Nine really did, to be honest with you, where Gene Roddenberry had envisioned this perfect utopian society, and Deep Space Nine is no, there's war, there's famine, there's disease, there's all sorts of other stuff that is wrong with our society out there in space. And Section 31 is that secret organization that has kind of brought that to the forefront. That they're not the perfect people that we want them to be. So, for those who have seen this episode, what do you think about Section 31? What do you think about it as a society, or as an organization, if you will? What do you think about it as its development from Deep Space Nine into Voyager into Discovery? Do you think they were around in The Next Generation? Do you think they were around in the original series? I mean, we know they were, but we just never saw them in those episodes. Go ahead, let me know what you guys think about that, because I could talk about this for hours. Thank you guys for everything. I will see you guys next time for one of the favorite episodes, and with a co-host, my friend Janine, in the pale moonlight.